Speaking of wheat,
Wheat. Uh,
so Daniel watched this. I didn't. I'd actually considered it, but then a couple nights this week were taken up by a beloved family pet having to be put down due to cancer. So, Daniel, was this better or worse than the cat being put to sleep?
Tough call. That's that's a tough call. Um, yeah. So I took one for the team here and watched Rebel Moon Part Two. Um, and it picks up where Part One leaves off, and we get a nice little recap narration from Sir Anthony Hopkins. Um, and so the band of heroes, quote unquote, return to what was the name of the planet? Uh,
Farmlandia?
yeah, Velt. Velts, yeah. So they return to Velts, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't have to worry about it because the admiral's dead, and the ship's gonna go back to the Mother World, I think was the name of the planet." And then they're like, but then the young soldier that went native, who's been kind of like reporting to the Empire, that like, oh yeah, everything's fine here, nothing new to report.
How
Um,
are you?
how are you? Yeah. um, Said, oh no, actually the admiral with the Germany World War WW2 haircut is actually still alive. Probably the most annoying and silly cartoonish villain I think I've ever seen in a movie. And so they're on their way to Velt, and they decide, okay, well, we got to harvest all the grain, and they're gonna they come up with a plan. So they harvest all the grain. They have to do it in 3 days. Of course, they're this is a major intergalactic spacefaring civilization, and they're harvesting grain the old-fashioned way.
Right. That is part of the silly thing about this setting. I have watched a few reviews of it, though I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I remember from the first movie, they never really say that this planet is a bunch of intentional Luddites. Because like I could actually
Yeah.
see that. Like, oh yeah, the galaxy is too hustle and bustle. We're gonna get a bunch of other Luddites and we're going to go live the old fashioned way. Except that they
Yeah.
have like hovercraft that they use still.
It makes no sense. But the plan that the General Titus actually, that's Dujimon Hansu's character. He's actually like a leader. He actually, I'll give him credit for that. He actually is acting like a general. Um, and so they come up with a plan. They get all the grain and they put it around the buildings in the village to keep the the dreadnought from firing on
Right.
them and destroying them.
Right. Because they basically, it's like they acknowledge, okay, they could just orbital bombard us and wipe us out, but they want our wheat so badly.
Yes, yeah. Um, uh, so they just decided to make the payment in the first film. The thing that is the reason for this mess. Yeah, kind of, yeah. Um, and so
Well,
then,
I don't think it's so much that they make the payment. It sounds like they are baiting them with the payment. The wheat is almost a hostage.
yeah, basically, yeah. And so then they come up with this whole convoluted plan to like basically lure them all down and just start picking them off. And then Cora, and her boy toy, what was his name? Gunner. They get into the ship that she crashed. And I remember them talking about this in part one. Like she crashed her ship on this planet, and then she stayed with them. Well, they pull the drop ship out, and so apparently it still works.
Convenient.
Convenience, yeah. And they use that drop ship, and so they get in the drop ship and they fly up to the dreadnought, and they're gonna blow up the. She's gonna get on there and blow the dreadnought up. And that's basically the last 2/3 of the movie. Um,
So Daniel, I hear that the first hour of the movie is basically slow motion shots of people harvesting wheat. How accurate is that?
it's pretty accurate, yeah. Yeah, yeah, and then a lot of and if you like the pointless flashbacks in part one, there are more of them in part two.
Okay, so how accurate is this? I heard that basically it's like all the characters sat down at a table and spouted their backstories to each other, and everybody basically had the same backstory.
Yes, yes, that is a scene in the movie. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, and then they had of course, then they have the flashback scene for when the king and the other royal family members are assassinated, and per Zack Snyder edginess during that scene, there's an orchestra playing in the back, off to the side, just playing music as the king and queen and the princess are being assassinated.
and the band played on.
Yes, yeah.
So Cora's an awful person, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's just, yeah, it was, yeah, uh, it it's about what you would expect from a Zack Snyder movie. It's just so pretentious, like, um, and it's very, it's just not a whole lot for me to get into, because it's just like it's just one thing after another after another after another, and it's just it got so monotonous after a while. And the battle scenes just kept going on, and I'm like, like that scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, get on with it.
Yes, get on with it.
Yeah. um yeah,
So I have a serious question for you.
yeah.
This is just things I've heard in the reviews. So Anthony Hopkins' robot character, who kind of disappeared from the first half of the movie,
Hmm.
does he do anything in the second half of the movie?
Yeah, he takes a tank out.
Now, and I also hear that does he know that Cora is the one who killed the princess he was trying to protect? The entire reason he existed?
I think it's kind of implied that way. Yeah.
He, he never confronts her about this, right?
They do have one scene where they're talking to each other, but they don't. I don't think that ever really comes up. I'm trying to remember. They talk to each other in a cave by a waterfall, and I don't. I'm actually kind of having a hard time remembering what's in there.
So I'm the reason I ask this is because if that's true, that is like the biggest writing fail.
Yeah.
I, I did hear one review saying that it's like it's like Zach kept forgetting why the bad guys were coming back, because it's like everybody kept like saying, "Oh yeah, they're coming back for revenge. Oh, they're coming back for the wheat. Oh, they're coming back for revenge." It's like the characters. It's like all the characters agreed with, like good and bad agreed at the same time, as though they're having secret conversations off camera.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yes, Ninja. It's stupid. Yeah.
That's stupid. This film is stupid. Stop being stupid.
Yeah. Well, what's worse is, at the end of the movie, when it's all said and done, like, okay, so two of the characters end up getting killed. I think it was two of them. So, you remember the Asian woman with the swords?
Yeah, the only cool character.
Yeah, she dies a very very unspectacular death.
Of course.
Yeah. And Cora's boyfriend dies.
I mean, the one character who she had any sort of attachment to.
Yes.
I see you doing your DBZ reference, DBZ abridged references down there, Ninja.
Yeah. But what was worse was during the group funeral scene for all the people who died. Uh, General Titus reveals to Korra that the princess isn't really dead.
Wasn't the princess reincarnated as that one girl who the robot had a connection to?
Yeah, well, maybe I don't. But they just like when Korra shoots the princess, like she has all this like white light that comes out of her, and I remember like in the first one she like healed a
Oh yeah.
injured animal, and so yeah, so Titus tells her, oh, she's not so easy to kill, and I'm like, oh jeez, Zach, if you think that you're gonna do another one of these, think again.
So, how would another hour of film time help this movie?
Mm, I have no idea. It
Yeah, so,
wouldn't.
so you're saying you have no idea, like what? Like, so it sounds like in the first one, it felt like there was like a lot of rushed character introductions, and
Yeah,
it feels like in this one, it's like they tried to backfill it.
yeah,
Um, but it's like in the first one, I could see where they could have more scenes, but it sounds like everything I've heard from this one, you're wondering where the hell did they get another hour of footage for this?
yeah, yeah. I have no idea. Unless there's like more scenes from the backstory that they interweave it differently, kind of. Yeah, like kind of like what Zach did with Justice League, where he just kind of like took different scenes and put them in different places.
So we might have yodeling Icelanders singing a song to Korra.
Yeah, probably.
Uh,
Uh,
so it sounds like there's no particular reason for me to go back and give this a look.
no, I don't know. You save yourself 2 hours and watch something actually worth watching.